la. Oh, I'm live. Just doing some warm-up exercises for my voice. Welcome to Girl Talk. This is Kareen Wong, your host. This podcast focuses on relationships in your life, whether it's at work, like with your coworkers, at home, or in your personal life. In today's episode, we are doing a very juicy, good topic. It's so good. And it's fitting because it's also my last podcast episode. So if you enjoyed the other podcast episodes, you might be a little sad that this is my last one. But this is going to kind of wrap up everything that we talked about so far. Today's episode, we're talking about how to deal with your partner or colleague or family member after you had the fight. Oh my gosh, right? Think about all the times you all fought, whether it's small or big, y'all made up. And then you find yourself, gosh, the relationship is different. What? It's like my boyfriend's distant now, or my mother-in-law won't talk to me, or my girlfriend won't return my calls. What's up? What happened? Did it change? Did I piss them off? How do I fix it to go back to normal? Just because you said sorry yesterday doesn't mean that they're not a little bit upset still. Okay, maybe they're not as angry, but they're a little upset because maybe something happened during the fight. But they had time to reflect on the fight and they thought, gosh, I'm still pretty pissed. All right, so what do you do? First of all, tip number one. Give it some time. Don't expect the other person to magically turn around and go, I love you. I love you too. And hug each other and make up and everything's just like peaches and cream. No, it's not. It's going to take some time. Maybe a day at least, depending on how serious the infraction was. We're not kids. It doesn't take like 30 minutes and we stop crying. No, we're adults now. So that means we have adult problems. So expect it to take about a day or two for your partner or colleague to get over, to calm themselves down, to be less angry. If it's a serious infraction, like you cheated or did something really bad, it might take a couple months, but no more than a year. I mean, I kid you not, if it goes beyond a year, that the person has issues, okay? They have issues, they can't let it go. It's beyond you. So with that being said, expect it to take some time, but no more than a couple months. No more than a couple months. If it's beyond that, they probably need some therapy or counseling because the problem is much deeper than you thought. All right, so that's tip number one, give it some time. Tip number two is I want you to act like everything is normal. Oh, I can't do that because it's not normal. No, actually, you have to be a really good actress or actor and pretend like nothing happened. You're not crazy. We all know what happened. You were there. They were there. But to be mature enough to say, you know what? We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to make references to it. We're just going to move on and pretend like it didn't happen and move on and go about our day. Because life always moves on. I know it may feel awkward at first, but trust me, it's only temporary. It doesn't last more than, a couple days, no more than a week, where you're acting like it's normal and the other person's going, what are you doing? Why are you acting like it's all normal? Because it is. There's nothing to be upset about. You guys resolved it. You said sorry. You agreed to a resolution. Technically speaking, everything is back to normal. So why are you still being angry? That's your attitude you should have is move on. Let it go. Move past this. We are ready to move on with your life and move on with other things that are much more important than that fight we had 2 days ago. So being practical and I think smart about it is the goal here. Just go, you know what, honey? I'm not mad because we resolved it. We said sorry. We agreed to agree on something and it's time to move on. That's what you say. That's what you say to that person if they don't understand why you're acting like it's normal. Because it is. It's normal. It's normal to have a fight. It's normal to move on. It's normal to make up and forgive and move on. Now, I should stipulate here that my tips are very good if you don't do the big three don'ts. I didn't mention this before because I figured y'all know about the three big don'ts, right? Don't do these things in a fight. So let's roll back a little bit here. When you're fighting, everyone knows you don't call each other names. Okay, we learned that since like elementary school, right? You don't call each other names because that's low blow. That's below the belt. You heard that before, right? That's below the belt. Don't do it. Don't use the F word. Don't use the S word. Don't say bad words. Again, we learned that in elementary school because those are hurtful fighting words. Again, that's below the belt. So we don't say profane words. And number 3, don't trash talk about their families. Don't do that. Don't trash talk them. I know that we're in the heat of the moment. We're so pissed, right? And you want to hurt them so bad, just like they hurt you, right? Isn't that why we say bad words? Isn't that why we call them a jerk or a douchebag? Isn't that why we do that? Because we want to hurt them. We may not actually feel that way. I mean, I know I've said it in my lifetime, and I really regret that because I did not think that way of the person I was talking to. But I was so pissed. I was so pissed. And when you use names, name calling during your fight, guess what? You're going to regret it because now that you've resolved the relationship, resolved the conflict, and now ready to move on, there's always that big matzo ball hanging out because you called him a jerk, you called him a douchebag, or you said, F you to him during a fight. That you can't take that away. You can't take that away. Or you trash talk about his family. Yeah, you can't put that back in your belt because it's out there. You put it out in the universe. And your recipient is going to know exactly how you feel about their family. Now, you probably don't feel that way at all, but you said it because you were in the heat of the moment. So it's definitely not how you really feel about the family or about him, but you said it. So if you don't really mean it, don't put it out in the universe and say it and say, well, I was pissed. I lost control of my anger. Yeah, that's no excuse. Yeah, close that pie hole. Okay, don't say it. Don't say it. Whenever you feel the urge to call him a name or say the F word or whatever, don't. Because those big don'ts in a fight is going to make the relationship harder to reconcile afterwards. So even if she forgave you or he forgave you and you guys are ready to move on, that they're more awkward towards you because you said that during a fight. All right. So don't do those. There's another don't that I didn't mention, and it's something that a lot of people don't think about. Don't be cruel. I know it sounds like very like, what? I had a friend who was dating a girl, and she felt suffocated. Like she felt like she was always with my friend and couldn't get her freedom. So she got mad, and she's also immature too. So she said things that she really shouldn't say. And one of those things was things like, I never loved you. You're not really good in bed. You're stifling me. You're hurting me. You want to control me. Oh my gosh. Those are very serious accusations. And she did that to get a rise out of him. She wanted to see what he would do. Well, he got pretty upset with that. Sad at first and then really pissed off because it was so far from the truth. It was ridiculous. He took care of her. He gave her room and board, no rent. I mean, it was like you had a great life, and he thought they loved each other. But she said, "No, I love you, but maybe not as much as you love me." Oh, yeah, you don't say those things. Well, here's what happened to them. They got back together. They resolved their differences. said they're sorries, agreed to give her some more time apart from each other. They came to some kind of agreement, which is great. But guess what? It took nearly, gosh, I want to say like 2-3 months of awkwardness, of time together, being time together, and it was awkward the entire 3 months. My friend would call me and go, "Yeah, we're dating, but it's kind of like it's really different. It's almost like we're starting from scratch now. We're so different. I don't know her. I don't think I know her as well as I used to. So I'm just kind of pulling back a lot. I'm no longer as chivalrous as I used to be. I'm not buying her stuff. I just don't know what I can do with her." And she said some things to me that was really hurtful. So I don't really want to jump in the sack with her right away because she said I wasn't very good. So it made him doubt himself, doubt his ability, doubt his whole relationship entirely. And he was ready to just, you know what? I think I'm going to break it off. Like he was about to just, that's it, we're done. Because she said those things. Did she really mean those things? No, no. She only said those things because she wanted to literally just spend like a night away from him. She just wanted her own place, move out on her own, something like that. And the funny thing is that when she did move out, she ended up spending more time at his place instead. So it's like, okay, you moved out. Why don't you go back to your apartment? Because I'd rather be here with you. So maybe it made her realize how much she really wanted to be with him. And she does have huge regret for saying all those things to him because it basically just destroyed the relationship. But now they built a new one and it's more solidly built. But I'm telling you, 3 months of this awkwardness, of awkward stageness is what happened. So let's put it out there, okay? Don't do those things. Don't name call. Don't use profanity. Don't trash talk each other's families. And don't go below the belt and talk about things like how you are in bed or if I really love you or not. Yeah, that's pretty low. That's pretty low, especially if you don't mean it. If you're going to say any of those things, like I don't love you or you're bad in bed, you could pretty much be prepared to kiss that relationship goodbye. All right, because that's pretty cruel. All right. Now, earlier I mentioned that it does take time for the person to get over it, right? And I don't mean a lot of time. Like I said, 2 months. My friend had 3 months of awkwardness. And the reason why is this is because it takes too much energy to hate someone, right? If you think about who do you hate in the world, okay? Who do you hate? I don't know. Let's suppose we hate, I can't think of it right. Clinton, Bob Clinton, or Bill Clinton, sorry, Bill Clinton, okay? We hate him, okay? You really don't like him. You hate him. All right. What can you do? Nothing. It just takes so much energy to think about the man and think about why you hate him and to broadcast it and tell people about it. And this is an example, okay? But my whole point is this. It takes more energy and focus to hate someone and then to actually be mean to you when you see them. Right? So we always go back to our natural status, which is let's be happy or at least content with each other. I can't be a Karen. Let's put it that way. Okay. I can't be those people that starts to pick on people in random streets and just be mean to them. I don't have time for that. But the Karens in the world, they have time for that. But it's only for like that 1 10-minute period. Okay. So my point though is that people who taking the effort to hate you, yeah, it's so much effort, it doesn't last very long. Eventually, they'll calm themselves down and be normal. All right, so that's why the time it takes to get over it will take about anywhere from a day to like 3 months, depending on how bad the infraction was or if you said some low blow stuff during the fight. That's why we don't say those things, okay? Now, after time, the important thing here is that at the end of the time of being awkward, they should learn to forgive you. Okay, forgiveness is the goal here because if they cannot forgive you, they'll never get over it and they'll always be bitter and they'll always be awkward with you. So really the time of being awkward is really time for them to reflect, think about what they, what they have with you and decide if they should forgive you or not. Most things are forgivable, but really that person needs to just like be mature and go, okay, is this relationship worth saving? Should I want to be in it? Usually the answer is yes, because the problems we have is forgivable. Some people don't think cheating is forgivable. Okay, that's their call. But most things are forgivable. Lastly, that I want to talk about, the last tip number 3, okay, is to keep your word. If you had a fight and you had agreed to some terms, an agreement, do it. Do it. Don't have a fight. Say, I'm sorry, honey. Promise the role to them. Promise it won't do this and that. And then you forget about it and don't do it. Oh my gosh. Guess what? If you don't keep up your end of the bargain, you will have the same fight in like no time. Okay? So you have to keep your word. Don't say stuff to say it. Say you'll do it and agree to it. If it's something you both mutually agreed upon, do it. If you agree to not overspend, do it. If you agreed not to cheat, do it. If you agreed not to talk trash about his mama, do it. I think you get my point, right, guys? Is to keep your word. So we are going to sum up all 3 tips. First tip is give it some time. Anything more than 3 months, it's probably too much. You might want to talk to your partner or other person that they might need therapy or counseling, because whatever is holding them back from forgiving you is bigger than you. It may not actually be you. It may be something else. Number 2, act like nothing happened. Pretend like it didn't happen. Don't make references to it, about the fight. Don't talk about it. Don't bring it up, especially in the first, month or 2 before they have forgiven you. Okay. So if they're still awkward between you two, don't bring it up. Just move on. Act like everything is normal. And number 3, agreed. Act on what you agreed to. If you said you were going to stop overspending, do it. Now, let's take a moment and reflect on your own life. When was the last time you had a fight with someone in your life that was close to you? Your partner, your coworker. Okay, think about the last big fight, a fight that made you completely uncomfortable and it was hurtful. Are you still in a relationship with that person? Is that person still your friend or your partner? Okay. If you are, think about what happened after the first day. After the fight on the first day, how did it feel? Pretty awkward, right? A little different. A little like, we're not quite the same. All right. But how about afterwards? Second day? Third day? Fourth day? Yeah. Actually, you're right, Kareen. It got easier. It wasn't so bad. I mean, we eventually moved on. Why? Because life moves on. You got things going on that's much bigger than your fight that you had, 5 days ago, right? We have things like COVID. We have the recession, rising gas prices, kids are growing up. I mean, God willing, we have life that moves on, right? And we have to move on with it. So don't stay in the past. Move forward. So that is why you're still together, because you're able to move past that, and day by day goes by, it does get easier. And soon enough, you're back to normal like you are right now. Oh, the aha moment. Oh, that makes sense now. Yes. So the hardest part of this episode is really to act like nothing happened. I know. Right? You're not crazy. I know it happened, but you have to act like it's not a big deal. It's fine. We're going to move on. What happened in the past. Move on. We agreed to agree on this. Let's just do that. Okay? All right. I think that is a wrap. Thank you for listening in on Girl Talk with Kareen Wong. If you want to connect with me, you'll find my links in the show notes. I will see you soon on Instagram or Facebook. Maybe you'll order some panna cotta for me. I am the owner of My Guiltless Treats. You can go to myguiltlesstreats.com to order your healthy desserts. They taste like coconut flan that has low sugar and high protein. Shameless plug, I know. You also find me on LinkedIn. I do offer elective courses for pharmacy students. I teach a lot of internal medicine topics to third and fourth year students. So yeah, I'm kind of jack of all trades. Stay well, be well, and connect with me soon. Have a great day.